Hi there. Welcome to my fancy facility door thing. I was gonna use this for something else, but hey, I am a programmer in my spare time. So, I've played around with some redstone, and as you can see, when you push this button, nothing happens. That is, of course, because you have to set all of these to the correct value. Now, that goes down. Now this will show up. And there we go, you can pass through. Are you curious about how this system works? Well, let's get into it. For the user side, it is extremely simple. This last one connects to the first one over there, which is a bit of a problem, maybe, but it is what it is. So this last one here is the furthest away one there. When all of these match and you hit that button over there, they will all activate, or more accurately, it'll test. That way you can't just flip through all of them really quickly until the door opens. You actually have to run back and push the button after every test. That, and also there's a lot of delay in these, so, well, we'll get to that later. What you need to know is that when this button is pushed, regardless of what happens, this will go up. The actual system is really simple. First of all, the delay is kind of inherent to analog signals in Minecraft. And then all you have is a relatively finicky NOT gate. Relatively finicky NOR gate. Not NOR, fuck. It's a relatively finicky XOR gate, which is just chained together, which then activates a piston over here. This piston allows the button when you press it here to activate, and then that will basically function as if you just hit this normal button regardless of the combination. Now, the way this system works is actually genius because it is just two big flying machines and operating them reliably, essentially. As you can see, these two flying machines are actually linked. One thing I love is that the way I'm actuating this flying machine is with these lights, which are also used as actual lights, which is fun. Basically, if we go back here, once these one-tick signals go here, they change the state of this piston, which goes into this block, which tells us that, you know, these are basically separate. When you are actuating this system, it is really simple. When you push that button, all you essentially do is light up these guys or pulse this set of normal non-sticky pistons right here once. That is all you do when you flip that switch. The magic is, of course, with everything else. So when this flying machine goes down, which is, you'll go in and see, it's a really simple mixed flying machine. You can stack these as wide as you can. I think 5 blocks is the limit, though, so you can make a wider door if you want, or I guess a taller one if you want to move it sideways, but you can't have both. And yeah, all this essentially is two of these flying machines next to each other down here with some decorative blocks on the side so we don't walk on slime. But once this flying machine comes down, it will activate this guy right over here. And this little guy is very fun, because it will flip the state of this block from, you know, with a little flip-flop, and then that'll activate these lights, which will make this flying machine in here, that's the floor, go in. If you actually see this in action, that's already happened, but when you hit the block again, you know, these pistons activate, because if they were lights, they would be picked up by the flying machine because they'd be too close, so I ended up just using, you know, pistons instead, because they do the same thing and don't take up the room. And once the pistons fire, the flying machine moves back there, and similarly, there's an observer here that once the flying machine comes back, activates this little thing, activates this flip-flop, which then gets turned into a one-tick pulse, which then activates these lights, which makes this flying machine go up there and stop. But you may be wondering, what about the little other blocks and lights? Well, that was kind of tacked on because I thought it'd be really cool. Basically, there's just an observer here waiting for this piston's state to change, and then two things happen. First of all, this creates two pulses that get turned into a one-tick pulse, which go to the pistons to push them out and retract them. This is timed to how long the door takes to open. And then there's another one with a faster ignition, which just goes to the sound system to start the flip-flop, and then once the same amount of time passes as it takes for the pistons to go, you know, up and down, the same system is basically mostly reused just to turn it off. It's a little bit convoluted, but what it results in is when you hit this button, it does genuinely feel epic. And that is the thing that I really like. When you're making redstone machines, it really is about the spectacle. And because this video would be way too short if I just showed you one door, let me show you some more stupid stuff I've been playing with. So this is a trick you may have often seen. Put down a torch, boom. There's fire somewhere. That's not fire, that's just an environmental sound effect. Okay, so all this is it's a really actually genius idea that I've seen. All it is when you put, it's the quasi-connectivity thing. It's this system. And then that just, you know, pushes a piston that makes the block break itself, and then this opens and closes the door. However, there's another very cool mechanism, because this is like, you know, a sort of Gabriel Knight secret in a secret. You see this unassuming room? Well, it hides a secret. A very well hidden secret, honestly. When you push this button, nothing happens until you go back there, and then stairs, and then you just go through, and yeah. Now, the way this works is actually really funny and really simple. So the way stairs work in Minecraft, or the way that stairs are dynamically done, it's basically just this idea, and I found this by accident when I was testing some stuff, where you can basically do this, and you can hide your stairs, and then show them, you know, you can do this, so you can have a normal boring wall, and then, ooh, stairs pop out. That was a creative... I built that without Bold Edit. That was a pain. I don't know what came over me not to install it, but yeah. I've been thinking about making one of those funny videos where it's like an overcomplicated, super hidden base with 20 billion different, you know, tricks and doors and whatever, you know. But, I don't know. It's fun to mess around with, but this was mostly done as a test implementation for something I wanted to do in a server, and then I got a little bit distracted and maybe made it a little bit too sophisticated, but I still like it. So yeah, I'm sorry, this is a bit of a weird video. I promise actual, like, LPs and stuff are gonna come soonish. I'm just a little bit busy. By busy, I mean I'm a little bit busy with just existing. Man, it is a little bit of a tense week, you know? Bye-bye.